Unless you're very young, this guy doesn't need any introduction. I'll give him one anyway, just in case. One of the best to ever do it at Wisconsin. Two-time first-team All-American, two-time first-team All-Big Ten. At one point, had the best assist-to-turnover ratio in Division I history. That, of course, is former Wisconsin star guard Jordan Taylor. We're thrilled to have him with us this season talking Wisconsin basketball. And after a long, outstanding career overseas, he's now one of us in the media. He's crossed over to the dark side, working with the Big Ten Network as an analyst right now. I know your time is precious. We only get you for about 30 minutes today, so we'll get right to it, Jordan. Just looking back on your career and, when you think about your time at Wisconsin, between 4 consecutive highly productive seasons, what do you still hold on to most? Maybe not the games or individual performances, but now that you're back in the Big Ten and around Wisconsin a little bit, what does just being a Badger mean to you these days?
Oh man, that's easy. Relationships, man. That's easily the best part. Being able to be in the media now, but still just walk into the offices upstairs and go kick it with Joe, who is my vet, I guess you would say now, based on
Yeah.
based on how college basketball is. He was a senior when I was a freshman, and Coach Guard, who recruited me, who's literally one of the best humans that I know. Um, yeah, just being able to go there and talk to those guys and communicate with them, and Sharif, who's literally like family. And then all my
Mm.
teammates, of course, as well.
So there's no way you can possibly be sick about talking about this game, though. Ohio State, 2011, the Buckeyes come in, number 1 in the country, undefeated, looked untouchable to that point. They've got this super team. You're down 15 with 13 minutes left. It took you guys about 3 minutes to erase that deficit. You scored 8 straight. I was watching the game this morning just to refresh my memory, and now I'm ready to run through a brick wall here. Well, watching the Kohl Center just go off the way it did that day. I am ashamed to admit, though, I was watching the game. I was in college at the time. I shut it off after you guys got put down by 15. I think I turned it on right when Bruzewicz hit that dagger 3. So I caught that, but I missed the whole run live. But when you scored that 8 straight, what was it just like to breathe that into your group and just see them rise to an unbelievable level in that final 13 minutes?
Um, it was one of the things I remember is they threw like a backdoor lob to Jared Sullinger to go up 15, and I think it was my fault. I think I missed the help opportunity. I think just remember looking up at the score and being down on the banner around the Kohl Center and just not really feeling worried in the moment. And I think one thing that we knew is obviously we had a reputation for playing slow. But I think we also, the way Coach Ryan coached, he installed so much discipline in us. When we got down, it was almost like a F it moment too, where it's like guys just kind of
Yeah.
started playing more free and not worrying about it. And we had the ability with Keaton and John's athleticism to do that. So it was amazing. It was obviously one of my favorite basketball moments ever, to be able to play in front of 17,000 people like that, rocking. And then it's something that you just kind of always remember with your teammates. And I'm actually really good friends with a lot of those Ohio State guys now too. So they remind us of the 30-point deficit, 30-point loss later that season.
That one doesn't matter. No one remembers that one. So Ohio State's the obvious one, but I always like asking former players, is there a different game they may look back on more fondly, just for reasons that, we in the media or fans don't pick up on, just being in the day-to-day grind? Is there another game you maybe hold in a higher regard during your career for a different reason?
Um, yeah, honestly, I think honest for me, it was a Kansas State game. I think Jacob Pullen had like 40
Okay.
on me, but we won.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where, I didn't shoot well, but John was playing well. And it was one of those, like, Josh Gasser, played really well that game to me, and Mike Bruzewicz. And it was one of those things where it was like, all right, we easily probably should have lost that game. But fighting
Mhm.
through to get to the Sweet 16 was crazy. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Northwestern, always remember, because Josh got the first triple double in school history, and he was a freshman, so being able to watch him kind of blossom and help us win that year was a lot of fun. I literally could go on and on and on about games. The Duke game my sophomore year where Trayvon went crazy obviously was a good one. Um, yeah, man. There's we played in my freshman year, Florida State. We beat them when they had Tony Douglas. Like I go on and on and on
Yep.
about games that were, just things you remember forever.
So you're a Minnesota guy, and if things get stale during the season, we can always turn this into a Vikings podcast. I don't know a quicker way to get people to tune out of it, but that sounds more like a therapy session more than anything. Is usually what those turn into. But you obviously weren't the first Minnesota player to cross the border and head to Wisconsin. But things really seemed to pick up in that state for the Badgers after you came, and Jared Bergeron, Mike Brusewitz was part of that strong run that they had in the Gopher State at the time. If I remember correctly, I think you committed to Wisconsin fairly early, and I know AAU wasn't what it is now with all the control they have over everything. But what just made that an easy decision for you at the time to sort of play for the rival school?
Uh, Honestly, I came to a game. I hated the recruiting process. I think I've told this story quite a bit. Like, couldn't stand it. I think I realized pretty young that coaches just kind of said whatever. And the thing that stood out to me about Wisconsin is Coach Gard was not like that. He didn't say whatever. This man would spend an hour on the phone talking to me about what I need to do to get better, to play at the Big Ten level, Power Five, even the NBA. And it was always they were big on undersell, over deliver. And like there would be moments where I had to put the phone down and walk away with Coach Gard because he was just talking and he just showed it's like this investment in before they even offered me, showed me he was like talking to me about, hey, this is what you got to do. And I was like, man, this dude is one annoying, but two just super genuine and I'll never forget that. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I chose Wisconsin. And then I knew Coach Ryan was going to be there. I didn't even know what the swing was at the time. I went to a football game, saw Camp Randall, and became really good friends with Tim Jarmus. He let me, I forgot gloves. He let me borrow his choppers, and I was like,
So Greg Gard's obviously this really down to earth guy, and obviously fans at times get frustrated with whatever was not getting to the Sweet 16, certain losses, but amidst all that, I always tell them, I think you guys don't know what you have with him and these group of coaches. You touched on it in the beginning, the best humans you're going to find in this world, and Greg Gard's just kind of that every man. Like you said, you can talk to him about anything. I mean, he doesn't have this certain aura that a lot of big time college coaches have. You go to these AAU gyms and the events, and his coaches just walk in the gym like they're untouchable. And he's not that guy. What do you just remember about him from behind the scenes and maybe even today that's just made that relationship so special for you?
I mean, I think one is his genuine approach to people into the game. He's from Cobb, Wisconsin, so he's not naturally not going to have that big time persona. But one thing I remember about him is he was, I think, very loyal to Coach Ryan. Like he believed in what Coach Ryan was teaching to us, and he parroted that at sometimes. Like I used to mess around with him and call him Yago because Coach Ryan, he'd be like, "What the Jordan?" and Coach Gard right behind him, like, "What the Jordan?" But I mean, to have someone like that and it was with the good things too, though. So to have kind of that general on Coach Ryan's side, I'm sure was invaluable. But then for us as players, again, at times it could be annoying, but it was amazing because he kept reinforcing the things that we needed to be doing. And now with him, I know some fans, at times wanted to, weren't happy, but I think they also got to understand when you have a person who's that genuine, that loyal, it takes a little time for him to find his own, I guess, self as a head coach. And I think he's done that over the past couple of years. Specifically, he's been great the whole time, in my opinion. But he's found it over the last couple of years in a little shift in play style and things like that. And I'm just really excited about all the things he's going to accomplish. And it's just I would say nothing bad ever about Coach Gard. All right for him till the end because he's just one of those guys.
Perfect segue because we're in an era now that this was supposed to be the end of him, maybe the end of Wisconsin in terms of being able to consistently compete atop the Big Ten in a national level. And you looked at what Wisconsin was when you were there, what they were for the longest time under Bo Ryan, and early in the Greg Gard days, they had this tried and true method of developing players for 4 to 5 years. And now it's really tough to get somebody to stick around past 1 year, let alone that long. And I like to think of myself as a level-headed person, but I remember sounding the alarm bells when Chucky Hepburn walked out the door and took a check from Louisville, and AJ Storr got a massive payday from Kansas. I'm thinking, what are they going to do? And you look at, and I mean, Tyler Wall was getting offers to leave Wisconsin, and pretty substantial ones. I mean, he took a pay cut to stay with the Badgers and kind of be loyal. And you kind of just wondered at the time, how long can Wisconsin sustain their competitiveness at a national level in this new era? And here we are with Greg Gard, who I think you could argue is in a better spot than he's ever been as a head coach here at Wisconsin in the last 10 years, with what he's gotten in the transfer portal, with the offensive adjustments. What's just been your take on why he's been able to not only survive so far, but perhaps get Wisconsin up a ring or two on the national level here, from where they were when he took over?
Yeah, I mean, well, it goes back to, like you said, it's a perfect segue because his genuine approach, he's never faked anything or try, even when there's been, I'm sure, tumultuous times. I don't know what goes on in his household and things when people are, I can't imagine when people are, calling for things that they were calling for, but he's never really changed. He's just stayed the course. He's been consistent, and his evolution as a coach has just been a natural one. And now I think people, when you're a player, I just feel like the good ones and smart people, you feel that. You feel a genuine approach from a coach. And I think a guy like Nick Boyd, he had Carolina, he had big schools
Yeah.
coming after him, and he chose Wisconsin. Like, so that, I don't know, whatever the money situation was, who knows, but just that simple fact speaks volumes regardless of outcome. But now with the group that they have, I think they have a real chance to make some noise here this year. You still got to go play the games, you still got to execute. And quite frankly, to your original point of the developed 4 to 5 years, I think that gets a bit overstated. I think that was the model of college basketball. But if you pay attention to a lot of guys at Wisconsin, they developed over 1 year. I averaged 1 point a game my freshman year. I averaged 10 or 11 my sophomore, and I averaged 19 or something my junior year. John Lure from his freshman to junior year. Cam Taylor developed it. So they can develop guys very, very quickly at Wisconsin. So I think they've been well suited for this environment anyway.
So he's obviously a Bo Ryan disciple. It would have been very easy for him to, I think, be set in his ways. And obviously you look at this offense, and it's not what you guys were running back in the day. I mean, 60 points used to be a good night for Wisconsin basketball. And, Greg Gard last year in the preseason was talking about setting the bar at 90 or 100, and I kind of popped up like, okay. The swing offense was obviously very good to you. I don't think you have any complaints, especially, all the post touches you're able to get as a guard. You're really good at playing with your back to the basket and kind of making people uncomfortable that way. But I remember interviewing you, I think, when you were inducted in the Wisconsin Hall of Fame, and you kind of made a joke about all the things they were letting Johnny Davis do at the time. And you're like, wait a minute, where was this when I was playing? So the game's obviously changed, and there's a reason Wisconsin is going to a more European heavy ball screen type system. But what type of damage do you think you would do in this offense, knowing just the constant ball screens that you'd be put in with, say, John Lure, and also the freedom to kind of get coast to coast with the basketball off every miss?
I mean, I can't complain. I think, I was 25 my junior year. So maybe you're playing faster.
So 50 a night, just say 50 points.
Yeah. So, I can't complain. I think maybe a couple more assists here and there, whatever. But honestly, I think it would have been great for like guys like Tim Jarmus, who he was really good at handling the ball as a big, 6'7" guy, Rob Wilson, Josh as well. But also you got, like, I would be remiss to say 60 was the Dick Bennett Badgers. We averaged at least 67, 68. So I gotta, and Coach Ryan.
You were on the floor in that Penn State Big Ten
Oh, that was
tournament
crazy.
game,
Yeah,
right?
we scored about 17 total. Uh, so, but yeah, no, I mean, I think that the Coach Ryan actually had a saying that the game doesn't change, and I think Coach Gard would agree with
Yeah.
that. Where the philosophy has not changed. It's good shots, it's threes, it's layups, it's don't take bad shots. I think the pace at which they play, shoot a little earlier in the shot clock, more ball handlers on the floor. So to me, that would help. That would have helped take pressure, I think, off of me. But you could also argue that my numbers might have gone the other way, right? If we would have had another ball handler to make plays and stuff like that. So I don't think about that a ton, but I do think that now playing that style, it's more attractive to players on the surface level. But I'll go to bat until my dying day that we played philosophically, Coach Ryan had the same style as the modern day NBA. It was threes and layups, of course, long twos on defense. So and points per possession, really.
Yeah. What's Coach Ryan just up to these days? If you still keep in touch.
Yeah, he's I mean, we got to golf with him this summer with Devin and Sam. That was a lot of
Okay.
fun. So I think he's playing a lot of golf, enjoying the fruits of his labor, spending some time in Cali. And then supporting the Badgers. He'll text me when I'm on Big Ten sometimes. I think he texts me on like a Wednesday in the middle of the year. And I'm like, why are you watching Washington versus Minnesota in December while you're in California? So still a basketball junkie. Enjoying it.
Oh, maybe he's getting ready in case he's ever called to be a head coach again. Should I expect to see him on any hot boards when there's an opening here? Can you safely confirm if he's done?
I can't confirm or deny that. So he would have to tell you, but I wouldn't put my money on him coming back.
Looking at this Wisconsin team now, I'm guessing you caught the season opener, 96-64 win over Campbell. Nobody's going to get overly excited about a win over that team, but I think it gets the juices flowing a little bit if you're a Badger fan, seeing that they did not play particularly well for 32 minutes. It took Wisconsin about 3 minutes to really blow that game open, and they scored 96 points on what really wasn't a great offensive performance. Good or bad, was there anything you saw Monday that you want to see them correct or see them build off of going into this second matchup here with Northern Illinois on Friday?
Yeah, I think just consistency on the defensive end and on the offensive end, being a little more crisp in what they're doing. I think the last year you saw a tendency, especially later in the year, where the ball was going side to side and they weren't actually attacking off that Euro motion type offense. Where it's just like, all right, it's kind of going through the motions a little bit. Unintentionally it happens. You don't want to force things. You want to get a good shot. It's just a natural thing. So I think always staying in attack mode, and being crisp in every set and every screen, rolling hard, making sure that you're on point and doing that early in the season. I mean, we all know it's a life thing. Habits build, right? So, and then defensively, same thing, right? Just making sure they're pressuring the ball. They're doing what they need to be doing on that side. And then I think again they got 9 new guys, I believe, this year, right? Is that the number?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, 9 new guys. So it's gonna take time. That's brand new people. I was playing overseas. I played 9 different countries. It's hard as a pro with 26, 27-year-old in your prime trying to figure out new guys. So it takes time, and it's gonna take a little time.
Are you saying you played with Sam Decker towards the end of your career? I should have asked about that. What was it? Obviously, you guys didn't cross paths at Wisconsin, but I'm sure you're very familiar with them. What was it like to just kind of at the end of your career team up? And I think you guys won a championship too, right?
Yeah, we did. We won a couple in the British League, and then went to
Okay.
the Final Four against Paris Basket, which is now the coach of the Grizzlies. Tomas Lisalo was the coach for Paris. So, yeah, we had a great 2 years. We did cross paths. I took Sam on his official visit at Wisconsin.
Okay.
So we crossed paths. But Sam, man, that's my guy. That's my dog. He is one of the most kindest people. Him and Olivia both just kind, really good people. And Sam's got his quirkiness, and I love him for it. But he was playing with him was he's different, man. It's same. He got injured in the league with his back and stuff, but the things he can do with the ball are unbelievable. Like, and I think he's so good, or I think he's so good at so many things where I think that's a challenge sometimes because you don't focus on one thing on the court, right? So, um, it's he's special. He's a special dude, man.
Jumping around a little bit here now, but John Blackwell had 31 points in that opener, and I don't know what you thought of his performance. Again, I know it's Campbell; he's got bigger fish to fry, but to me, it felt like going through that NBA experience in the summer, coming back to Wisconsin. I'm sure he got some feedback he didn't necessarily like, which maybe put a chip on his shoulder. But I thought we perhaps saw a different demeanor in him Monday night, just in terms of somebody that said, there's not a player on this floor that can guard me, and I'm going to go get it whatever type of shot I want. What did you see from him in that opener where, he just goes off and I don't want to say carry Wisconsin at times, but that run that they had where they ripped off 15 straight, ended 29-2, had his fingerprints all over it.
Yeah, JB is. I got to see him this summer. He slimmed down. I don't know. I don't know if he lost
Yeah.
weight or what he weighs or anything like that. But he just looked skinnier, in a good way. Which means it doesn't look like he was carrying as much weight. So I think that's going to be reflective in how he plays this season, his durability. And I always give him a hard time. He's got that move where he rips baseline and he always lays the ball up. So I always tell him, man, you gotta go dunk that thing one time. But he's competitor, man. Him and Nick Boyd, I don't know him as well, but from what I've heard, both extremely competitive. And if you have that competitive plus the confidence you just mentioned, that could be a dangerous thing.
I'm guessing you've watched a lot of Big Ten ball through this first week. I know everybody's only one game in, but do you get the sense of maybe where Wisconsin is in the pecking order right now? Too early to tell, or how do you maybe feel about this team long term, given what you've seen throughout the league here?
I think the fun part of the portal is it's free agency. It's actually like how NBA free agency used to be before they changed all the rules, and it was super exciting. So if we're talking about winning the portal, I think Wisconsin's right up there. Indiana, I think obviously had huge turnover, but bringing in like Reed Bailey he could play,
Right.
guys like that. But Purdue is obviously going to be the class or be considered to be the class of the league for now. But Wisconsin, to me, they're right in that mix with the guard play, like Nick Boyd and John Blackwell, and then Austin Rapp, who I think is going to be a really, really good pickup. And just
I like him.
that alone, you got a 1, 2, and a 5, probably the most important positions in college basketball. And then it's like, all right, what can you get from Rhodey? What can Rhodey do on the wing? He could be an X factor for Wisconsin, with the ball handling ability, the size that he has, and then Nolan too. Nolan's a guy. He's probably got the most NBA potential on the squad, right? Just from his frame. So they got all the pieces, man. It's just can they put it together, and that remains to be seen. That's also the fun part about the portal.
So Wisconsin's going to return to action on Friday against Northern Illinois. Jordan, you're going to be on the call there for the Big Ten Network, so keep an eye out for him. After the game, I don't care if Wisconsin wins by 50. Make sure you grill Coach Gard a little bit. This is your payback time now. He must have done something to you in your college career that still eats at you. Extra sprints, nothing?
I mean, it's really just that yelling. Like he's gonna let you know when you make a mistake after 3 other people already let you know. And I'm like, man, I heard it the first 10 times. So, but he always used to say this thing, if you make a mistake, you say, my bad. He'd be like, my bad gets us beat. And like yelling at you, like, all right, man, silence. So, but nah, man, I wish seriously, he is. I wish people would get the chance to get to know Coach Gard, because him and Michelle are. I say that. I know I said Sam is kind, and everybody, but they are the best people.
All right, Jordan, we appreciate you coming on with us this season, and we'll catch up again after the Badgers take on the Huskies.
Awesome. Can't wait.